In our next formatting video, we are going to look at the top and bottom of the book, which is kind of the last step of formatting. It can be the trickier bit, and it's kind of the final stage of our book. Since the last video where I showed how to do the chapter art, I did finish and get that chapter art onto each chapter. So it's there all the way through to the end. One of the things I do next is I scroll out quite a bit. And I do this once or twice where I just kind of scroll up and down and I kind of look at how everything looks. I won't do that too much in this book, but one thing I am looking for is sometimes when you start formatting, you'll get a blank page. So I just kind of do a quick scroll and I'm just looking for a blank page because then I know I need to adjust things, maybe delete some. So this is fine. For a second, I thought I had a blank page. Sometimes there's extra carriage returns and you just need to delete a carriage return or two. I'll go more slowly, not during the video, and look for blank pages and make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to be done. The next thing I'm going to do is, it is 349 pages. We need an even number of pages in our book. So I'm going to come all the way to the end of the book. Whoa, don't need to be quite that zoomed in. And I'm going to insert at this point. So this puts me at an even. I'm going to add actually 2 more pages. So I'm at 652. So the reason I'm going to add those extra 2 pages is because maybe in the future something's going to happen and the author has to edit something and she's suddenly like, oh, what's happening here? Okay. I realized that I want to add something and I don't want it to be too tight. I would rather have an extra couple of pages. Also, Ingram Spark likes an extra couple of pages at the end. So 1 page is enough, but 3 pages also works. I'm just going to have it at 3 pages. Next, what I want to do, we want to add page numbers. Some people want the page numbers, don't want page numbers on chapter pages, and that is fine. What I'm going to show you will be something that you can adapt to that. I don't bother with that. This book to me has 3 sections: the front matter, the body of the book, and the end matter. So I'm going to come up here. Well, first of all, the end matter starts right here at the pronunciation guide. So I'm going to come to, I lost those guys, to the last page, and I am going to come into layout, and it has something called breaks right here. And there are section breaks: next page, continuous, even page, odd page. Next page says insert a section break and start the next section on the next page. This is going to add a page, and the page is going to be invisible. It's going to take the pronunciation guide, which is right now on page 643, and it's going to make it 644. That always trips me up. I always lose pages. I just really prefer the continuous break. It inserts a section break and starts the new section on the same page. So I do this continuous break, and so this becomes section 1, this becomes section 2. I'm now going to come up all the way to the top of my book, and I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm going to add a continuous break here. So this is page 4 and this is page 5, and that's what we want. We want the first page of chapter 1 to be on an odd page. So then I'm going to come down to, I'm going to make this smaller again. And I'm going to come down to here, the footer. And here's where you can really see it. Header section 1, header section 2, footer section 1, footer section 2. Now we're going to do some important things up top. First of all, I'm going to say different, odd, and even. And I want to make sure you need to make sure you do that because you want the tops of your pages to have the book title on every other page and the author on every other page. Next, I need to say click off link to previous, but you have to do this 4 times. So odd page bottom, click it off. Even page bottom, click it off. I'm going to come to the top. Odd page top, click it off. Odd even page top, click it off. Now I just did that from section 2 to section 1. I'm going to go down and do that section 3 to section 2 as well. So section 3, 4 times. Odd page top, turn it off. Even page top, turn it off. Odd page bottom, turn it off. Even page bottom, turn it off. This is where you're going to have your phantom numbers and phantom things showing up if you don't turn off that link. So first, different, even, odd, then turn off that link. Okay, so now we will come to the first page of chapter 1, and I am going to come to page number. I like mine at the bottom of the page centered, and so that will come in. And let's get a little bit bigger so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And we are going to turn this into the same font we have been using. And we're also going to say, you'll notice it didn't print anything up top. And we're going to format page numbers. And we are going to not, right now it says continue from previous section. We're just going to say start at 1. And then we are going to do the same thing here. Because we have even and odd, we have to do it twice. So exact same thing. Bottom of page, center. And notice it automatically went to 2 because we have that set up correctly. We do need to make sure we have the correct font. I usually leave it just as this. We could change the height. I usually find that how I have it now is fine. Now I'm going to come to the top. I am going to put the title of the book, Hammer and Heart. I am going to set the fonts. I'm actually going to have it go up 1 to 12 point and center it. I could go up to 14, I don't need to. And then I am going to come here and I'm going to say Erica P. Christie. Once again, I'm going to change the font. Notice I'm choosing different places, whatever seems the most convenient at the time. And so I also brought that up. And if I come up here, the page numbers did not come on the first 4 pages, neither did the title or the author. And if I come to the bottom, none of that came to the bottom either. Page number, author, book title. It all stopped right here on the last page of the book. So I come here, I'll close out a header and footer, and I'm going to hit save. And this is the point at which I would start at the top of the book and start making sure everything looks exactly how I want. Like Hammer and Heart, maybe I've decided I want this to be bigger and I don't mind it going on 2 lines. maybe I think this is better, at which point I might make this part smaller because I want that to be centered, and this might look better. I don't mind it on 2 lines. Let's go out. And that looks better. So now it has a little more presence when you opened it. I have my copyright. I need the ISBNs. I have my acknowledgments. It's going to be back to back. I talked to the author. She doesn't mind. Now I have chapter 1, and I make sure, everything is spaced with the drop cap. And then I'm not reading anything. I'm just visually checking that everything looks the way I want it to look for this chapter. Once I get into the body of it, I don't really need to look very closely. And then I get to chapter 2. Again, I make sure the drop cap is there and the image and everything. And then I can quickly skip up to the 3rd chapter, the page before the chapter itself. And again, I can go. One thing I can do is I can come to headings here and go to the 4th chapter here, because I'm just looking at the page before, chapter 4, the drop cap. Come to chapter 5, look at the page before, look at the chapter itself, make sure everything looks as I am hoping it would look through to the end of the book. When I get through all the way to the epilogue and I'm checking this out, I've looked at the page before, I'm looking at the epilogue, then I can get to the very last page, and then and everything looks how I want it to look. I would save it. I would save it as a PDF, and then I would send it to the author and ask the author to do their own checking of everything. And at this point, if the hardcover trim is the same as this paperback, you can use the same material we just finished in both. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks!